The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 715. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She's the co-founder of She Loves Tech, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Leanne Robers. Leanne, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hi, Sheena. It's really a pleasure having me on this show. I'm so honored to be here. So I'm the co-founder of She Loves Tech. We are the world's largest startup competition for women and technology. So I've kind of founded a couple of tech companies. I founded a fintech company in New York and also an art and tech company in Southeast Asia. And then prior to that, it was a mixture of entrepreneurship, but also corporate as well. So I started out my career in the UK with Siemens, a German company, and I was doing trains and railway solutions. So I was leading teams that were all men, and it was really challenging for me to be the only female Asian and very, very young individual on that team.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think that's great. You're able to do that. Like you mentioned, it's not always easy being the only girl in a man's group, and especially as an Asian woman, right? Sometimes they don't take you seriously and you have to work like 2-3 times harder just to prove to yourself. But I mean, it's all worth it in the end. So thanks for sharing that. And Leanne, what's your cultural background?
I was born in Singapore. When I was 6 months old, my parents moved to America, so to Denver, Colorado, and then to LA. And then so I had my formative years in the States. I moved back to Singapore, and I've kind of just been in and out of different countries, mainly in the US, in Singapore, and then also, as I mentioned earlier, working in the UK.
Thanks for sharing that. And what'd be your favorite self-confidence quote?
So we tell a lot of our startup founders at She Loves Tech, and we've noticed that people, and especially women, they lean away from different opportunities. So we always tell them, instead of leaning away from opportunities, step into opportunities.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's a great quote and mantra that you mentioned because, yeah, as women, we feel like we're not worthy enough to step into that opportunity. We feel like there's someone else that's better than us, not realizing like, sometimes these things are presented to us for a reason, and sometimes it may not work out, but it could lead us to other opportunities. So you never know what happens when you step into that. So thanks for sharing that. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
I think to me, self-confidence is really something that comes as the term is, right? From the self. It's really something that honestly stems from first a level of self-compassion that really is based on your inner worth, right? And that exudes in a way that is presentable to other people.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Leanne, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Wow, that's a really hard question for me to answer. I think, growing up, I've always had a lack of self-confidence. It's always something that I've always kind of been striving towards. I was always really, really hard on myself, always thinking that I wasn't good enough, always thinking that I, wasn't as smart as the person next to me. And for the longest point in time, it was just like me looking at the person, looking at friends, looking at other coworkers, and just being like, wow, I wish I was like them, right? And it was, I had friends tell me like, Leanne, why don't you believe in yourself? We all believe in you. And it took me a really long time to figure out my self-confidence. And now it's funny because I'm actually doing my PhD on self-confidence and women leaders.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something we all go through, especially, growing up as an Asian woman. We're so hard on ourselves. We become like our own worst critic and enemy, always putting ourselves down, thinking we're never good enough. We're not worthy to go out there and do the things that we want to do. But what was that point in your life when you realized you could go out there and be who you are today, especially creating She Loves Tech, right? I know you mentioned you just finished a conference with over 600 people who attended, and that's amazing, right? It takes like courage and guts and action to go and do that. But what was that aha moment to that gave you the confidence to go out there and do what you love?
So I think there's two things to me answering this question. The first one, the aha moment really came from when I was first promoted to a manager, and I was a manager at very, very young age of, I think, 24, 25. And this was during my time in Siemens in the UK. I was leading a team of male engineers, and it was really challenging because I had some of my male colleagues that would tell me that their sons and daughters were older than I was. And it was constantly me trying to almost be like one of the boys, constantly me trying to find favor in them, trying to win them their approval. And it really took my boss, who was a fantastic mentor to me at that time. And, he told me, Leanne, I didn't hire you despite you being young. I hired you because you were young, because you could bring this fresh perspective to the team, because you could see things that other people couldn't see. And that really gave me a new lens when I was looking at this. It really changed my perspective completely. And then I said, okay, you know what? Instead of trying to be like them, I'm going to be my authentic self, and I'm going to be able to bring a completely different perspective to the table. So that's when every meeting after that, I really tried to do my research. I really tried to be prepared and really brought a fresh new perspective, and also just, made sure that I brought different value in my own authentic way to the table. So that's one thing. And then you did mention as well, Sheena, about She Loves Tech. It's been quite a journey for She Loves Tech. We going into the largest startup competition for women in technology, and also providing a lot of accelerator services for these women really has been challenging. Right now, we are in over 20 countries around the world. And that alone is just a feat on its own because, there's so little support for women. We started this really, I mentioned earlier in my introduction that I've been a tech co-founder and building different tech products, whether it was fintech or art and tech. And investors and ecosystem players would always tell me, Leanne, women don't like technology. They don't like blockchain. They don't like AI. They don't like big data. What they like is beauty and fashion. And what they like to build in terms of technology is e-commerce. And we really found that to be completely untrue. Like, we saw these women building amazing, amazing technologies. We just had an accelerator program for 15 individuals who are flying in from all over the world, right? Germany, France, the States, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Southeast Asia, Singapore, Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, China, India. It was just so amazing. I'm sure I'm missing some countries there, but it's been really inspiring to see the journey of these women, because a lot of these women come, and while they are fantastic and they come from a tech background, already surpassing so many different biases that people put on them, they still have so many issues with self-confidence. Like, they are carrying so many things, right? And I think that this is true for women. Like, women, we carry so much on ourselves, whether some of us are mothers and we carry that guilt of working and, not having enough time for the family. We carry the guilt of not being able to spend enough time with our loved ones. We carry the guilt of, maybe even imposter syndrome, right? Leading up a team of all men. And so we're just carrying a lot. And so one of the things that we try to do at She Loves Tech, and it really is the reason why I'm doing my PhD on it, is to help these women to be able to release that kind of issues that weigh them down so that they can then grow into their best selves.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's great what you're doing. I know a lot of people feel like, they see women as just about beauty and, like you mentioned, makeup. Like they just have this linear view of women, not realizing like women can be anything they want, right? If they want to do beauty, that's great. If they want to sing, if they want to do tech, if they want to fix cars, whatever it is, like we have that capacity and ability to go out there and do the things that we love and not be defined by society. So I think that's great what you're doing. And, because of these realizations, what's your life been like now?
Wow, I think, every day I'm inspired by our founders that come through She Loves Tech. I remember just being in Pakistan for She Loves Tech Pakistan and really just being so moved to tears. We had almost some of the most important people in Pakistan, half were men, half were women, and everybody was standing on stage saying how important, She Loves Tech as a platform is for Pakistan, because Pakistan is a place that, has been known to, I would say, discriminate and marginalize women for many, many, many years. And to hear some of the most amazing or the most important men in Pakistan get on the stage to say, She Loves Tech as a platform is important because we want to encourage more women to build technology products. We want to encourage more women to go into technology. And, we want to be able to build a better Pakistan for our next generation. Like, this is important because empowering women to start technology businesses gives people more job opportunities, increases the GDP of Pakistan. And that itself it's just so unmoving. So every single country that we are in really has its own story, but I'm truly inspired, and it really keeps us going at She Loves Tech, and it keeps us wanting to just be able to inspire more women to build their own self-confidence.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's great what you're doing. I mean, these platforms that we create, it's more than a platform, right? It's really the representation and showing other women, especially women of Asian descent, like what is possible, right? Especially when you're programmed to just told to be doing one thing all your life, not realizing like there's more than one way to live our lives. And, there's so many examples now, right? Women going in tech, women owning their businesses, women, following their passions and creating a full-time career out of it. Like anything is really possible. We can just go out there and take action and show others. So I really think that's great what you're doing, especially like you mentioned, like in Pakistan, like, or in India, like, yeah, women there are still, treated like, they're just an item, right? There's so many stories about that. And the more we can empower them, the more they can go out there and do something that they love, make their own decisions, have that freedom. So thanks for sharing that.
I think it's also really important as well that these places, or actually, no matter where you are in the world, we need more role models, right? We need more women figures to look up to because we just don't have enough. Every time I ask women to name their top 5 role models in the tech sector, they really struggle. And it's so funny. There's a great article and research in the States that had gone onto the streets and had said, hey, grab strangers and ask them to be able to name female role models in the tech sector. So they named Sheryl Sandberg, they named Marissa Mayer, and then after that, they realized that only 20% of them could name somebody, and not just maybe they would name 1 or 2 names. 70% of them couldn't name anybody. And the best part about this was 5% of them named Alexa and Siri.
Wow. Well, that's crazy. I didn't even think that was possible, but it's just like a wake up call, realizing like there's still that need for female role models, and we could be that role model, right? We just have to believe in ourselves, take action, and know we are worthy to go out there and create that positive impact. So I'm really glad you're able to share that information. And to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you'd give to her?
I really would say, inaction is so much worse than action, right? So whether or not, like, if you're thinking about what to take that step, I would say take it, because this is so highly researched that people regret inaction way more than they regret the mistakes that they make when they take action. So be brave, take that step. Sometimes it's just asking people, right? And being direct to say, hey, can I do this with you? Can I be part of this opportunity? And what's the worst that they can say? the worst that they can say is no. And to me, that isn't that bad. So I really encourage more women to just, again, step into the opportunities instead of stepping away from it.
Thanks for sharing that great tip. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do or check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram. I share a lot about my own journey and my own struggles. My Instagram handle is Leanne Robers, LeanneRobers, or you can follow us as well on our Instagram for She Loves Tech.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Leanne, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Leanne's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Leanne today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Leanne.
Thank you so much, Sheena.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Want to learn how you can use podcasting to market your business? Download your free report by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.